Aloha, friends. Kai's got his mic on.
Yep.
And you know what did you just tell me? What was your favorite recipe that we've done?
I did the Big Mac, but we're going to be doing the spaghetti and meatballs.
So, yeah, the Big Mac was his favorite. I think that was all your favorite, too. If you haven't made it yet, where have you been? But I said, what about spaghetti and meatballs? And he's like, let's do it. So we're going to make carnivore spaghetti and meatballs. I really think you're going to like this because the sauce has it's a creamy, because I'm going to try to do the carnivore type thing.
Yeah.
And even the noodles are carnivore. So you can put whatever sauce you want on them, but it's pretty mind-blowing. Now, the noodles are super easy. So you're going to want a scale. If you don't have a scale, like a food scale, I think this is $9, super cheap, but you're going to want to use that in this recipe. And the reason is because it's pretty technical when it comes to making the noodles perfectly. So when you turn it on, whatever vessel you have on here, you want to make sure you clear it out so it says 0. Does it say 0? Nope. Leave it on there.
It doesn't say 0.
Well, it would have. Now it doesn't. So let's turn it back on with this on there because now it'll say 0. Okay? So what we need is, I even have this written down because we want to make sure it's perfect, 550 grams of water. So we're going to have to change the unit to grams. There, it's on grams.
Yeah,
now, Kai, can you put some water in here?
Okay.
Here we go. And we're going to use 550.
Other way up?
Well, I don't know. We need 550 grams. So put some in there, and then we'll weigh it out. There we go.
I'll just use this.
Yeah, let's try that.
Tester. Okay.
Let's see. Put it on. Put it on. 'Cause it's 0 with this on there. So it's 260. So you need more.
Yeah, way more.
So yeah. And you can do half a batch, but let me tell you, these are so good. You're gonna make them into crepes, and ooh yeah, you're gonna make them into crepes, and then you roll them up and you slice them into noodles. Ooh, you're close. Here, no, instead of taking that off, what we're gonna do is just take a little bit. Ooh. It's amazing how just a little bit changes it, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, we're so close. 550, that's close enough. There we go. 549. Oh, 550, put it on in there. So 550 grams of water go into the mixer. There you go. Julia Child says, always use a bigger vessel. We got to put it back on here.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, we're going to use this because we want it to be dry. Oh, I got this wet. You want to make sure it's a dry vessel this time.
We can dry it.
Oh, I dried it with my shirt. I'm crazy. So we're going to clear that out, make sure it's 0 again with this, because it's going to be a different weight than that. Now it says 0. And we need 80 grams of gelatin. And look at this giant bag of gelatin. I just love that Further Food stepped up their game and made a huge bag, because this works great for the carnivore bagels, the Hawaiian rolls. It just adds that chewy texture that you miss when you're not eating gluten. So now we need 80 grams of this. And so Kai, can you get a clean scooper? Because that's wet. So we want a dry one. Are you just going to dry it off? And we want...
This is a little bit bigger.
That's fine. We just want it dry. 80 grams of that. So there's 56 grams. I would say this is almost a half a cup. Ooh, perfect. Almost. 80 grams. Oh, 78. Oh, mamma mia. Come on. There we go. 80 grams. Perfect.
All right.
Okay. And Further Food is so you want to put that on here, Kai? They're so generous. If you use code MariaMindBody, it's not just the first-time buyers that save 20%. It's everybody. So that's great. We're going to need that again. So put that on here, and to be 0. And we need 100 grams of egg whites. So no, honey. It was already at 0 with that on there. Okay. It's all good. Now we need 120 grams of dried egg whites. Now, you don't need to use this brand. You could use any brand you can get. You could dry your own egg whites. So, Kai, you want to load that up with 120 grams? 120 grams, and then we're going to use some salt.
Let's see how much this is.
Oh, yeah, we need lots. And I'm going to add some salt. You want 2.5 grams of salt. Salt is a flavor enhancer. Don't forget your salt, otherwise your noodles will taste bland. What do we go? 120, so that's too much. You got to take some out. We have 140, 138. More out. Keep going.
Okay.
It's a good math game for your children to play too.
Oh.
That's close. Just a little smidge out. A little bit. A little more. Take a tablespoon out. Take a tablespoon. There we go. That's close enough. 121. Okay. We're going to do that. Put that on there, and we're going to blend that up until it's nice and smooth. The reason I was kind of hurrying, Kai, is because gelatin likes to gum up. Like it's, hear that? That's the gelatin. So we got pieces of gelatin in here, but what's cool about gelatin is once it heats, it melts. So now we're going to move over to the stovetop and make the crepes. Okay, my friends, now to make the crepes, I'm using a non-stick scan pan, which doesn't have the harmful chemicals. We take very good care of this. It doesn't go in the dishwasher. I wash it by hand. It's a pricey item, but we love it. I'll have the link below if you're interested. I'm going to just grease this a little bit. You could use a little bit of paper towel to kind of spread this out because you just need just a touch. All right, and then you want to wait until it's hot before you spread this on, the crepe batter on, and you'll see we just want a nice thin layer of crepe. What was so cute is Aubrey and Vito, they came on my keto retreat in Greece, and then they came to visit me in Maui, and they showed me how to make these. This is their recipe. They perfected it, and then they came to my keto retreat in Bali, and they brought crepes. They actually made them there. They made crepes, and they would make sandwiches. Oh boy, good job, Maria. They made sandwiches, and then they would bring them to like the temples when we needed a snack, because Bali's fantastic, but the traffic is not fantastic. It's a lot. So we would get stuck in traffic, and they would just, we'd just have lunch like in the car. But I have a picture of Aubrey eating a wrap with this crepe at a temple. It was so cute. The retreats are some of my favorite things to do in the world. Love, 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 love it. So now, once it's set, you can kind of, Vito would just do this with his fingers. You kind of take the edge here. Be careful if you do it with your hands, and just ready. Oh, I didn't wait long enough. It didn't cook totally through. Well, the first one, like they say, the first pancake's always a wash, right? I'll still use that. I'm going to get a plate out here, because it will still roll up and make a good noodle. It's fine. So then you're just going to take them off, set them over here. I'm just going to take that off here. See, it's not always perfect. It's okay. Wipe that off and start again. And you just repeat them. So again, you're going to make a lot of crepes, but it's nice to have, this is like the lowest calorie pasta you'll ever have. And it's nice to just mix up your carnivore diet, right? So just rim the pan here. Oh, I'm always missing a spot. There. And then make sure it's set before you flip it, Maria. Yeah, I recently got back from Thailand, and I can't wait to go back. At first, it was like, ooh, this is way too hot, but I really just missed the culture, the people. It was awesome. Some of the best lobster I've ever had. I didn't really like lobster, and I had it there, and it was super tender. He said it was a different type of lobster than what I'm used to. The waiter told me that. See, ta-da! Now I'm just going to repeat that until we have a huge stack, and then I'll start rolling them up. Okay, friends, so now we have a bunch of crepes. I was putting them onto two separate plates because they do tend to stick together. This one was the last one, which I want to tell you about. The last one, if things happen and you get busy, that gelatin will start to clump up. Once you put it onto that hot pan though, it will melt. So don't worry if you like put it in the fridge because you didn't get to it. It's going to clump up, but don't throw it away. You put it onto that heat, it's going to melt. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to stack a few of them together. Like this one broke. Don't worry, it's going to turn into noodles. It's just fine. We are going to roll them up and grab a knife. That's how prepared I am. And make them into whatever size shapes you want. You can make them into you know, angel hair, fettuccine, thicker ones, whatever you want. And these also freeze great. So you can freeze them as crepes or make them into noodles. So they're still a little warm. That's why I should wait to slice them. But once you slice them, they are going to become noodles. Ta-da, like that. This one doesn't look so great, but they do look great. They think about noodles. They don't really have a lot of flavor. And then you also could use these as a wrap. So now we're gonna get to the meatball. Okay, one more thing, my friends, I wanna tell you about. If you do not cook these enough, they are going to be sticky and the noodles won't turn out perfectly, so be aware of that. And if they do tend to stick together, you can just heat them up, whether it be in the microwave or back on the pan, so then they cook completely. Because these two were a little sticky. I was kind of rushing it towards the end. Again, do not throw them away. Just think positive, make it work. Toss them in the microwave or whatever you want to do to get them to cook. But yeah, you can see that these are starting to stick together. But it will still work. These over here have had plenty of time to cook. Yeah, if anything, overcook them because they're not going to ruin them. It's just going to make them easier to slice and not stick together. So this one is much easier. Yeah, that's how it should look. There we go. Yeah, perfect. See? Oh, pasta, carnivore pasta, delicious. Okay, friends, to make the meatballs, super easy. So we have our big plate of pasta, delicious, all set aside here. Put that over there. Now, you're gonna start with 2 pounds of ground beef. You could use a 1/2 pound ground pork if you wanted to, ground veal, whatever. We have 2 pounds of ground beef, and we have 2 eggs. So I'm gonna add 2 eggs to this. Now, if you're not strictly carnivore and you want to add some onions and garlic, go for it. I don't mind. We have our salt. We're gonna add a couple of teaspoons. We have like 1.5 teaspoons, 2 teaspoons of salt. There we go. Now you could add some Parmesan cheese to this if you want to, still carnivore. Something that I do love to add to my meatballs, a lot of you know this and some of it drives you nuts, I like to add finely diced mushrooms because instead of breadcrumbs, adding the diced mushrooms helps give the mushrooms a great texture, just like breadcrumbs. It adds umami. Mushrooms are awesome. They're kind of carnivore, so you could add them. But what I want to do is I'm not going to add them because so many people despise mushrooms. I don't know why, but they do. I want to show you that they'll still work. They're not going to be as moist. I know some people hate that word, but they're not going to be as moist, but they're still going to be good. So at this point, you're just going to use your hands, mix this up, and I have an ice cream scooper because I'm going to use this to make uniform size meatballs. You want them to be about the size of the golf ball, which is this size, and my oven is on at 375 degrees. You're going to bake them for 15 minutes. The reason I like to use more of a hot temperature is you kind of get a nice sear on the outside of those the meatballs, not the mushrooms. And what you can do is take a little patty of this and sear it on your cooktop to make sure the flavor is good for you. That's more if you're going to use like mushrooms and, oh, I forgot one thing. To give it moisture, I'm going to add 1/4 cup of beef broth. Now you could use your homemade beef broth if you want to. This is what I have, so 1/4 cup. And it's just going to add some of that moisture with the eggs. Okay, there we go. Carnivore meatballs. Spaghetti and meatballs. Who knew you can make carnivore ones, right? And the sauce we're going to do is more of a carbonara, which I think you'll all really, really love. You could use my brown butter sauce, my brown butter cheese sauce that's in the carnivore cookbook if you want to. So at this point, I'm going to get a tray. Here we go. And, ooh, just make them into meatballs. Just like that. They're a little bit bigger than a golf ball, but it'll be okay. So it might need another minute or 2 in the oven, which is okay. There we go. And what you could do at this point is you could freeze the mushrooms. I keep saying mushrooms, people. freeze the meatballs if you don't want to bake them, and you can freeze the pasta too. So you have like an easy dinner. I often will make extra meatballs. If you have everything out, why not? I usually make extra and then just store some of them in the freezer. And then if I'm traveling, Craig can just throw them onto a, heat tray, thaw them, and then bake them as he wants. Easy lunch, dinner, whatever, breakfast. And that's how easy it is to make some meatballs. And while they're baking, we're gonna get to the sauce. So let's hop to that. I should have just showed you guys what I did. I stopped halfway because I added some mushrooms, I added onions and garlic to half of it. So if there's some people in your family that are carnivore because of autoimmune issues or some extreme health issues, but then some who aren't, that could handle maybe some onions and mushrooms, like this is Craig and I, then you could do something like that. So there you go. Okay, my friends, to make the carbonara, you're gonna start with 4 slices of bacon and saute that. And once it starts to crisp up like it is now, and you have some of the drippings in there, you are going to add onions and garlic if you want to. And the funny thing is the only onions I have are sauteed onions, which I always have in the fridge for, like, Kai loves a steak with sauteed onions and mushrooms. So I'm going to add, I know this is pathetic, guys, it's funny. I'm gonna add some already sauteed onions to the pan, because Kai will like this way better if we add that. Again, if you're a strict carnivore, you do not need to do this. Add some of that, and some garlic if you want to. And we have a nice, over here we have some garlic. And I'm just gonna peel that outside off and use my garlic press, because I'm a cheater. I love my garlic press. I use it all the time, I already used it today. Julia Child used the garlic press. I don't know why people have such issues with it. 1 or 2, we'll add 2. And you want some Parmesan cheese and 2 eggs. Okay. That's a big clove, giant. So big it's not even gonna close on me. There we go. I'm gonna turn the heat down though. I'm trying to get burnt garlic. That's not fun. There we go. I can always smell when the neighbors burn their garlic. And it's quite often. Now, at this point, once the garlic is sauteed, I'm going to add 2 cups of the pasta that we made, the carnivore pasta. This is how you make carbonara. I need a bowl. Put the parm in with the 2 eggs. There, and 2 eggs. 1, 2. And that's going to be added after we are done with the pasta in there. Stir this together with a fork. And you shouldn't need to add any more salt with the parm and the bacon. So it's just going to look like that before you add that in there. Now, we'll grab some of these noodles. Try to make sure that they're not stuck together here. Oh, they are. This is the one that was giving me trouble in the beginning. Try to peel them apart. Oh, I want this to be perfect for you guys. Bummer. I'm disappointed in myself. There we go. Add the bottom one, so it came out quite nice. Just like that. It'll kind of soak up some of that yummy goodness. There we go. So 2 cups of that go on in there. Most of the time they just come right apart like that. And just saute that. Mix it on in there. Kai doesn't like bacon. So I hope he likes this. The mushrooms are in the oven. This is like a high protein meal, my friends. Then I'm gonna turn this back up, and the eggs will cook in the hot mixture here. You don't want to overcook the eggs. Just want to kind of melt everything together. Turn the heat off. There we go. Oh yeah, that looks delicious. And then once the meatballs are done, they're gonna go right on in there. Perfect. Aloha! Kai is here, everybody, to try the carnivore noodles with
Yes.
spaghetti and meatballs, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Kai, we want to know, what are you gonna rate it? 1 through 10. Try it out, my friend. Spin, just like
Let's spin the
Lady
board
in the
around.
Tramp. Oh, lady.
I'm gonna have the noodles first, and then I'm gonna have that. Oh, that's really good.
You like it?
Yeah. Now let's try meat.
The meatballs?
Yeah. Oh.
You know, who needs real noodles, right?
Yeah.
Protein packed,
And healthy.
healthy. What do you rate it? 1 through 10?
I'd rate it a 9.
Ooh, a 9, everybody. That means to try it.
Yeah.
Carnivore spaghetti and meatballs with some carbonara sauce. And don't forget, get a huge bag of Further Food gelatin because you're just going to want to make this all the time. Mahalo, everybody.
Mahalo.
Enjoy dinner. When I was 16 years old, I was diagnosed with PCOS, acid reflux, depression, and IBS. Instead of taking those prescription drugs, I decided to change my life with food. Yes, food healed me, and it's healed so many of my clients over the past 20 years of working with people. If you are interested in transforming your life, check out KetoMaria.com. I'd be honored to help you.